Hi, this is Ellen. Welcome to your practice today. I'm going to start out with a quote from a card that I picked out today in The Moon Deck by Ariana and Andrea. And the quote was, "I honor the natural process of growth and transformation." So this class is for those times when you're in a time of change, a shift, and things are moving in your life. And it's one to settle down and regroup, and it's yin. So we'll start out on our backs, but before you do that, I have 2 blocks, a bolster, and 2 blankets. Gather whatever you need in that way and make do if it's a cushion or a pillow, whatever that might be. And then what I'd suggest is just move it a little bit away from your mat. You're going to come down to start on your back and allow the legs to go out to the side and the palms to open up. And then from there, stretch your arms out, completely releasing into the earth. Take a few moments as you allow the body weight to settle into the floor, to release back and encourage a slowing down, pulling back from the external world, and letting this be your hour, your time. Your time to literally feed whatever is shifting and transforming in your life. Note where there are places in your body that are pulling away from the floor. And without forcing, encourage those areas to soften and melt. In your mind's eye, picture your limbs. Picture your torso, the top of the head, the soles of the feet. Literally take residence inside yourself. Relax the place where your teeth meet at the back of the jaw. Relax the little furrow in between the eyebrows. And as these places release, so does the active thinking. As you draw further inward, relax even the ears, what you're hearing. Relax the center of the hands, what you might be reaching for. As you relax the soles of the feet, bring your legs towards each other. And now draw both legs over to the right side. And walk until you feel an opening in the left side of the body. The tendency here can be to push. Let it be where you naturally land. And reach the arms together. Follow the movement of your feet by moving your hands as well, and your arms and your upper body to the right. Grab hold of your left wrist and give that a little tug. So you're lengthening on the side. Through this entire practice, we'll be moving or targeting the area of the psoas, which is attached roughly to the lower spine, about T12, and wraps around to the front of the body and continues until it reaches your inner thigh. Often known as the iliopsoas, this can tighten from long periods of sitting. And it can also need strengthening as well. So today is really a class that is targeted mostly for lengthening that particular muscle area. Allow your head to rock towards your left arm. And if you'd like to add more leg movement, take your right leg and cross it over the left ankle to stabilize the left leg. Knowing that the side area is where we're looking to create sensation, allow your breath to move there. And on your next inhale, release the cross of the legs, release, holding the wrist, and move your way back to center. Stretch out the arms for one moment, and then move your legs towards the opposite side. Reach your upper body to the opposite side as well. And once more, this time grab hold of the right wrist. And again, stabilize by crossing the left ankle over the right. When we're in transition, when things are shifting in our lives, there can often be a sense of being ungrounded, not sure which direction to go in. And literally, transformation takes time. There's an act of patience that we draw from within. Not unlike a butterfly before it's a butterfly, being in its cocoon, and before that being a little caterpillar, knowing that something had to change, and feeling that desire, that urge within. But the cocoon itself could look scary. And yet that's what's needed in order to fly. It's that time of process. As you settle even more into the pose, know that everyone's process is unique. And that time that it takes is varied for each of us. If it's comfortable to let your head rock to one side, by all means do that for the next couple of breaths. As you breathe in fully, release the clasp of the hands and the cross of the ankles and walk your feet back to center. As you come back in, allow the arms to come down to the sides. And bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the floor. And carefully roll over to one side. Let every movement today be slow and turning to an inward place. So take hold of your bolster. And you'll put the bolster horizontal on the mat, roughly where you would land for your upper rib cage. And then with your blankets, have them handy. You may want one underneath your head. I'm not going to use one, but you may decide that that's something you would like to have. You'll reach out with one arm and stretch it over, coming onto your side. I'm on my left side if you want to go in the same way I'm doing it. And then take the right arm up and over. And with your left hand, just give a little tug to the wrist so you're getting that length in through the whole right side of your body. Nice. Once that happens, then give a little bend to the elbow. So we're just kind of adding a little extra movement here for the shoulder area. Nice. And if it's comfortable for you to stay like this, stay just as you are. Relax your head. Otherwise, you can separate the legs, taking your right foot forward and your left foot back. And again, working your way into the targeted area in the side waist. You may notice that some of the muscles in the body do engage a little to hold you in a side-lying place. But that's okay because the targeted area remains relaxed. If your breath can move into the upper ribs. And at any time you'd rather have both arms straight, by all means do that. With your next breath in, breathe all the way up to your armpit and stretch through your right elbow or fingertips. Settle down a little deeper into the bolster. Do that lengthening one more time. Release your right arm. And press it down onto the bolster. As you bend both knees, slide your left arm towards the bolster to come up. Then we'll simply switch sides. Settle yourself onto your bolster or blanket. Reach out through the arm. And then straighten the legs as you're ready. And reach your arm up and over. This time with your right hand, take hold of the wrist on your left arm and give it a gentle tug. And if that's going well, bend the elbow. Just hold for a moment, getting a little bit more length through your upper arm. And just stabilize the legs just a little bit. Take the left leg forward, the right leg back. It's giving them a little scissor action. When we're in a time of expanding, increasing our own visibility, maybe shifting careers, could be a move that's happening, something in your life where you're feeling the call to do different work or possibly change where it is that you are residing. We have to honor that time of growth within ourselves. In the same way, any journey, we truly come to a place over time. It may not be the time frame we would like. And there's a patience and a trust and a faith that begins to grow within us as we watch things evolve. But our ability to stay steady and listen to the voice of our own heart is what makes the journey worthwhile. Once again, bring your breath into the upper rib cage. Extend out through the left elbow, getting a little more length in the side. And picture in your mind's eye space between your outer left hip and your left armpit. Keep the length you just created. Release your arm. Press your left hand into the floor, bend both knees. And slowly rise back up, this time to all fours. Take a moment, round the spine. Relax the spine. And as you work your way back, place the bolster to the side just for a moment. And find a blanket, especially if your knees tend to feel a little tighter or a little uncomfortable on a hard floor. If you don't have a blanket, you can always fold your mat in half long ways. That's an option too. And then take the bolster and just put it on top of the other blanket for now. Your 2 blocks coming forward. Then once you're here, step forward with your left foot so that the knee is directly over the ankle. So we start out with the alignment being very clear in the pose. And with your back leg, curl the toes under, lift and pull back. Now you'll start to feel a stretch coming all the way up from here. And what I was talking about when we were on the back is literally this muscle group we're working, going right from here and wrapping all the way around. So the tightness can be in the groin. Now once you're there, take your left hand to the inside. And then I have the block here in case that's something that would be advantageous to use. Now roll onto the outer edge of the left foot and keep the foot clear. So there's a clear line between ankle and knee. And walk your left fingertips forward. The block can be for your right forearm. As you stretch the left fingertip away from the outer left hip. Personally, over time, I find the pose starts to open up and the block becomes a little too high. So at any time that that happens for you, by all means, move it. When we practice in a yin fashion, we're also keeping clear with how the body is moving and what is supporting us well. Continue to relax in through your left side. And ever so slightly press through your left outer foot. The other area, this particular pose will evoke sensation is your outer left hip. When we're in the process of change, there's usually work that we are doing internally. And that takes, again, patience and time. Think again about the cocoon and how long it is that the caterpillar waits for that moment to start to poke through, and the struggle that happens during that time. Press down through your right forearm, your left hand, and work your way back up. Grab hold of your two blocks. And we'll do the second side. Step your right foot forward. Again, lining up, knee directly over ankle. Curl the back toes under. So you're feeling a nice little pulling sensation on the front of your left thigh. And then walk your right hand to the inside. Again, you do what works best for you in terms of the block, the height of the block. And start to walk the left fingertips away. Roll onto the outer edge of your left foot, but keep it clear from knee to ankle so you're supporting your knee joint. Without struggle, and finding that place within us where we're trusting with faith that things might shift, we wouldn't be able to move forward. When you think back to times in your life that have been times of great change, they usually happen side by side, something that you're working through. So we begin to recognize that where we're at is enough in this movement, in this process of growth. And if at any time you want to move the lower block, by all means do that. Release down. Keep drawing your outer right hip away from your right fingertips, and then soften. Take a few more breaths. And slowly come on back up. Once you're here on hands and knees, move the hips in a circle or side to side. See what feels right for you. As you come back, walk your way back and take hold of the blanket that's been on the floor if you used it, or one that is over to the side. Just give it a fold in half, neaten it up. We're going to place that at the center of the mat, towards the back. And from there, I have the blocks handy, so I would keep them handy. You may decide that that's something you'd like to use as we go into this posture. You're going to stretch out the legs all the way out. And once they feel comfortable, go a little bit further in, so not quite to the distance that you can naturally go to. Just pull it back a tiny little bit because we will hold for time. And then both hands underneath the kneecaps. Give a little bend to release the back of the knees, especially if you're feeling a tugging from your hamstrings. And when you do that, take the hands underneath the upper thighs and just spread out the flesh. Yeah. Then both hands like this underneath and pull the flesh straight back. Yeah. Once you're there, lift up through the side body. And we're going to take a little twist. You're going to turn. And as you come down, take the left arm towards your left leg and reach the left arm down to the degree that feels comfortable. So this could be one stopping point, or a block can be helpful here as well. With your right hand, go to the top of your thigh. And again, we're working in this area here. Press down with your right hand into the thigh bone and open up the chest. Draw your shoulder heads back. Nice. If it's comfortable, reach your hand toward your foot. And then take the top arm up and all the way over the ear. Might touch the toes, might dangle. Keep bringing your breath and your awareness to your right leg and all the way down the right leg to the hip point. So you're keeping that heavy and settled to the ground. Another fun option is to bend your left elbow and rest your head. Continue to bring your attention to your right thigh bone. Allow it to settle down even more. Notice if you really landed in your body. And on your next inhale, sweep the right arm back up and over. Just reach it behind the back for a moment. Draw the shoulder head back. Press through your left hand. And rise up. Just pause for a second at neutral. Lift through the crown. Let your eyes close. Let your breath descend all the way to the base of the pelvis. And we'll take the second side. So give yourself that little twist first. Press down through the left thigh bone with the top of the hand, so you're going right up to the root. Allow that to settle. Yeah. Then from there, start to walk your right fingertips forward. Reach your left arm up. And go all the way over to the side. And again, you may notice this side is different. Just allow that to be whatever it is. When we're in the midst of transition, we want to support our own growth as much as we can. And practices that help you to be with yourself, to be still and quiet, can oftentimes give you almost like a blank canvas or a landscape to allow that growth to occur. Keep noticing as you're holding the pose, what's unfolding for you. What tissues are opening up. might be as little as an eighth of an inch in movement. But it might be the eighth of an inch that gives you comfort and ease. And any time you can turn and move your head toward your leg, just release the neck for a breath or two. And keep your breath moving into the ribs, into the sideways. Whenever I do this pose, I'm also feeling a lot in through the back part of, like towards the back of the spine, the quadratus lumborum area, right above the hip and the back side of the body. You may notice you're feeling it in your hamstrings too. Bring your attention to your entire left leg and let it settle more. When you lean back into the pose, it's a familiar trust of the work that's being done, not only on the mat, but off the mat. How you're showing up for yourself in your daily life. And release the arm position, whatever you had it in, and press your way all the way back up, nice and slow. We'll do the same thing on this side. Just take a moment and settle, root down through both legs and lift up through the sides of the body. Let your breath flow fully. And take one hand underneath the knee, the other hand underneath the knee, and you'll draw one leg at a time to the center because it's been a long hold. Just hug them in. And walk your feet back in towards your body. Wrap your arms around the shins and lift up. Good. And for the next one, release your hands. Come back to your knees just for a moment to set up a prop situation for the next pose. We have a bolster which is one height, and then we have the blocks which are a little firmer and obviously a different height. I'm going to use one block and possibly two underneath my bum for a bridge pose. If you know that you like to use the bolster or a blanket because that's a little softer, feel free to use that instead. And just take the blocks. I'm going to put them here so you could see. Maybe to the side, where you can hold on to them and come down onto your back. We always want to start from the back and place a block underneath by lifting up rather than sitting back onto it. So once I'm here, bring the feet underneath the knees. Make sure the blocks or bolster or blanket are where you can reach. Then you'll take one block, lift the hips, and place it underneath your bum. Don't want it ever here on the lower back. That would be uncomfortable. So you get it roughly on the bum and the sacral area. And then if that's going well and that feels comfortable, after you've just settled for a moment or two, you're going to come onto your toes, lift your hips a little higher, and place the second block right on top. And rest down. From here, bend the elbows. Push down into the elbows, and then get it where it feels really comfortable. And you feel stable, supported. Then walk the feet out. 1. See how that's working for your lower back. If you feel any pinching whatsoever in your lower back, you'll remove one of your blocks. Otherwise, stretch out as well through the left leg. And this is a deep opening for the whole front of the body, so go slow. And then reach the arms overhead. Settle. Reach out through the heels. Spin the inner thighs toward the floor, widening the back of the thighs. And then relax. If at any time during this hold, the low back starts to feel any tension that's too strong, re-bend your knees, press through your feet, and remove one of your blocks, or your blanket, or your bolster. Breathe into the back of the waist, breathe into the sides of your body. And notice if you feel any gentle tugging or maybe a stronger tugging, the inside of your frontal hip points. In modern society, we tend to sit for long periods of time, which contracts and shortens the psoas muscle. This undoes a little of that sitting. And takes the upper body into a shape that we're not normally in. During times of change, we want to take the opportunity to explore all that's going on in our lives. And evaluate the things that are helping us to move in the direction that we would like to be moving in. And those things that are holding us back. And in that exploration can come a sense of fearfulness. So our practice becomes quite important. Because it's a structure, a rhythm, a pattern that we have that supports all that we do. Notice if you'd like to stretch out more through the legs now that you've held the pose for some time. Reach out more through the arms. And then as you take another breath or two, step your left leg in, press through the foot, step your right leg in. Reach your arms alongside your body. If you had the 2-block structure, come high on the toes again. Lift the hips and come down to 1 block. If you had a blanket or a bolster, you'll remove that. Now from here, take the second block out and put it to the side. Allow the feet to go wide. You may discover that you've wandered on the mat like I did. So you can look down the center line of the body to see if you're in the space that you need to be in. And allow the knees to drop towards each other. Take a few resting breaths. And as we're holding constructive rest pose just for another breath or two, I do want to add, and you can't see it from this angle, but my knees are not touching. Oftentimes we have a feeling that, it has to be a certain way and we'll force. I could force them to touch, but just go to where they naturally land. That might be what is most comfortable for your body at this moment. Like it is for mine to have them just a little apart. And from there, heel toe your feet back to center. Yeah. And then as they come even, just take a moment, press through the feet, and elongate your tailbone toward your heels. Then take the feet back apart and allow your knees to come over to the left. Pick up the left foot and bring it on top of your right thigh. Give a gentle tug with the heel, so you're trying to move the flesh of the leg away from the hip towards the knee. And take your right arm up and over your ear. Let your arm widen so that the entire arm, shoulder girdle, everything can be on the floor. This may require bending the elbow slightly. And breathe into this twist. As you breathe in, lengthen the spine and give a turn to your head toward your right arm. On your inhale, turn your head back to neutral. Release your right arm coming into the pose coming out the same way we got in. Lift your left leg up. Place your feet back onto the floor. Pause for a moment. And just make sure your props are out of the way as you let your knees go over to the right. Pick the right ankle up. Place it on top of the left thigh, so it's just above the knee. And then give a little pull with the heel of the foot. So you're kind of working it away from this hip point toward the knee, the flesh. Let it settle. Find a comfortable place for your leg to settle. Reach your left arm up and over. It's important in times of change to know that we're supported. Allow all parts of your body right here to feel the support of the floor. If your arm is hovering alongside your body, that won't feel support, so move it a little wider and let it relax. And then turn towards the left arm. The slower pace of practice gives you an opportunity to listen within, to trust your instincts, and to make choices from that place of wisdom. Soften your jaw and face. Relax the whole of your body. Stay with that relaxed presence. Turn your head back to center. Release your arm alongside your body. Take your right foot off. And draw the knees back to center. And as you do, stretch out through your right leg. Stretch out through your left leg. And if your bolster is handy or a blanket, either one, just going to take it and place it on top of the pelvis. If you're feeling like you'd like to have a bolster underneath your knees, you could do that as well. Turn the palms up and allow the shoulders and arms to come a little wider than the torso. Separate the feet, outer hip width apart, and rock your head side to side. Release the entire body into the floor. Continue to relax into the floor. And in the same way you are relaxed in your Shavasana, relax in the journey that you're on. Stay here for as long as you have time for. Namaste.